Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Michelle, and today I'm going to play in my square dilutions journal. I'm going to create a little bit of a lace cut page. So I grabbed out this leafy stencil from Dina. I'm not sure what it's called. I've had it for years, and I've just marked out a border on my page. I didn't really, I think it might be a centimeter from the edge of the page and the top of the bottom. And then I'm just filling in a little bit of a space with some black gesso, just sponging it through that stencil. And then I'm going to start by cutting. No, I'm not. I think I'm going to cut words in this, yes. So I'm just drawing out the word spill onto that page and just doing it lightly with a pencil, and I'm going to be cutting all around that. Okay, so I've got a sharp blade in my cutter, and I've got a really thin cutting mat underneath my page. So this is just a kitchen cutting mat. It's nice and thin, so I can push it right into the gutter of the book. So if I ever do a lace cut page, I know that I can get quite close to the gutter because that board is thin enough. Okay, so I'm cutting out my word spill, and then I will start on all of the leaves. I think I did cut this out for you guys, so you don't have to sit and watch me there for 70 hours. It does take a long time to do this, but I really do enjoy the process of cutting. And I really love the reveal afterwards, so it makes it all worth it in the end. All right, so I'm going to cover the whole page with black, and I'm using black gesso. The gesso is, I use gesso because I like the matte finish. So first off, I started by sponging through the cut edges. If I had to go through there with a paintbrush, I would probably have to do the inside edges with like a paint marker or something, just to make sure that they are covered. But with the sponge, it seems to cover all of the bits. And you can see how matte that dries while I'm drying it. I am making sure to give it a proper dry. And oftentimes I don't really have an idea of where I'm going with the page. Today was the case. So while I'm trying to think of something that I'm going to do, I'm just also gessoing all on the back of that page. So when you flip it over, it's nice and tidy, because obviously some of that paint will spill through the cuts. And I wanted to hide that, and the best way to hide that is to just cover everything in black. And again, I will be drying that off, and I'm also drying the under paper. You would have seen me drying the under paper before I went over to the back of this page, just to make sure that I don't smush anything or have things sticking together and just creating a disaster. All right, so I grabbed out this butterfly stencil from Dina, and I thought, okay, I will color it in with her lovely neon scribble sticks, and then water activated. I think I did water activated, and see what happens there. And because I didn't have too much of an idea, the butterfly didn't really work for me. So I did it with the neons, and then I went in with some white gesso over the top, because it makes a really pretty pastel-y, bright pastel-y kind of color, which I love. And then I'm going to trace through that stencil again and fussy cut that butterfly. I'm also adding some of Dina's gloss in a little bit of neon pink. I couldn't get my dropper to work, so I'm just using my fan brush. And I think from the minute I started this, I wasn't happy with this butterfly. So I did fussy cut it, but I hated it. So I put it aside. I didn't end up using it, as you'll soon see. I also wonder if it's not maybe the shape of that butterfly that I don't really love, or I don't know. I think it just maybe looked a little bit childish. I want to say childish. It just wasn't what I wanted. So I keep taking it off and faffing, and this is where I really messed up. I shouldn't have done that big blobby body. But anyway, I'm persisting, trying to make it work, but I did eventually accept defeat. So you can see I'm just like trying and trying and trying and trying, and eventually you'll see I'm going to throw it away. I didn't like it. So what did I do instead? I grabbed some of Dina's collage collective paper, and I'm just trying to find one with the right colors, and I'm going to try again. Again, I chose the same butterfly, even though I think that maybe it was the shape. But anyway, I fussy cut that. I was much happier with that butterfly. And then this butterfly stencil also has the masks in. So I grabbed one out, and I'm just going to mask around it with a blending tool and some white gesso, just to add a little bit more interest to that page. And that was better. I felt happier with that. I'm happy that I went in with the collage paper from Dina. And I'm just going to add a couple more dots just to add a little bit more interest into that page. And now I was starting to get a little bit happier with that. And I'm also going to make some pink dots, just so the butterfly ties in a little bit more. That's better, I think. I'm going to outline the butterfly just so it looks a little bit more finished off. And then I'll probably glue it down. I'm going to go in with Dina's, one of her text stamps, and I'm just going to add a little bit more texture over the top of that page. So what the archival ink does over the top of the matte gesso is it goes shiny. So even when it's dry, it's a little bit shiny. So you can still see, that there's something there, but it's not very obvious. It's only really when you tilt the page that you get that little glimpse of like a glimmery shine. Sorry, I don't know how else to explain that. Okay, I've just traced around the word spill there with my white paint marker, and just to finish off the page, I'm going to stick a piece of transparency sheet with some double-sided tape. And then again, when you tilt the page, you can see that shine from the transparency, which is I really, really love. I tried to line it up at the top, but that didn't work. So there is a little bit of a bit that spills over the edge, but that's fine. It actually makes it easier to stick it all down. And then I'm just going to trim off the excess. And I think that was about it for this page. So what started as a struggle with that butterfly turned out to be quite nice, actually. I'm happy with the way it turned out. Finishing off with a little bit of splatter, and I'm going to dry it off carefully because I don't want my transparency to melt. Thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you again soon. Bye.